So, welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. Come on in. You don't need a microphone. I don't need no stinking microphone. Can you all hear me all right?
Yes.
All right. I am so flipping excited. That's early. If you don't know me, I'm David Hummer. I founded this museum 10 years ago. This is our 9th Angie. It's the annual National Juried exhibition that we kicked this museum off with Alyssa Monks as a juror. For those of you who don't know who Alyssa Monks is, look her up, and you can thank me later in a personal email. Thank you all for being here. Thank all of the artists for entering, because without you, we don't have a show, right? So thank you. Look, you know what? At the risk of sounding like a broken record, get off of me. Every year I say the same thing. How will we outdo this show next year? And it just keeps getting better and better. It just keeps getting better. That's why I'm so excited. I see the work that comes in. I have to map out this show, hang the work, light it. I feel like I know all of you. I wish there were more artists here, but I understand, demographics and travel. So I'm so thankful for the artists that have taken the time and made the trip. And I hope you're not disappointed about where your work is hanging. You're in very good company, and with a history of very good company. I have to say something. This is the first art opening that my mother cannot attend. Her name's Carol. She may only be 5 foot tall, but she's a pit bull, and she's going to outlive us all. And she has been, throughout my life, my biggest supporter. She just had full hip replacement surgery, and she can't figure out why it's taking so long after 3 to 4 weeks to recover. So, to Mom. She loves this place. Anyway, knowing that this is the 9th, and next year, of course, kicks off our 1 decade, I wanted to make it special. I wanted to make it really special because I think I juried last year's, and I hate jurying. I don't like being a judge. One year we had, so a short story, one year we had Frank Bernarducci here. He had just left his partnership with Louis K. Miesel in New York, one of the most prestigious galleries in New York. So Bernarducci Miesel Gallery in Manhattan. And I called him up and I said, Frank, would you please help me out in jury the Angie? He said, you got it, David. So I flew him in, and he's looking around, and then he started swearing at me. So he said, damn you! It's so difficult to be a judge when there's so many great works. So he got on the phone with Alyssa Monks, and I don't know if any of you know Vincent Desiderio in New York, but he's been represented by the Miles McHenry Gallery for decades. He's one of the leading painters in contemporary figurative realism in the world. So Frank was on the phone with Alyssa, who is in the top 16 most influential painters of our lifetime in Brooklyn, and they hashed it out because Frank didn't decide. And then unfortunately, his new gallery in Chelsea got shut down because about a month later, he suffered a very debilitating stroke. And I hope it wasn't because he judged the show here.
I think it was.
But I keep in contact with him, and he's doing really well. But I had to deliberate about who I would ask to jury the show. And Julianne Yonker came to mind because Julianne is international. For those of you that don't know about her, she works in almost every medium under the sun. Her works are held in collections all over the world. She belongs to many national art associations and what would you call clubs, like Salmagundi, New York, okay? Not just anybody can walk in and say all right? So, she kind of knows what she's doing. And on top of that, she is one of the most beautiful, wonderful people you've ever want to meet in your life. And I'm grateful.
Yes.
Yeah.
I thank the universe for you this morning. So, I sneak into her village, and I say, sorry, that's when Harry met Sally, it has nothing to do with the show. She agreed to do this, and then she started swearing at me. Now, Julianne doesn't swear, so without further ado, I want to introduce you to Julianne Younker, and she has two works that are up in the reception area. I hope you had a chance to take a look at those. She also does sculpture, paintings, encaustic, cold wax, all the photography is mind-blowing. She's one of these people that just kind of make you sick, that she's just good at everything that she does. Seriously. And she took this show quite seriously. And she loves the show as much as I do. And I think she's spot on with the selections. I applaud you for that. So thank you. Thank you for being here.
I don't know if you can't hear me because I don't talk as loud as David, and I also can't stand up here and just talk off the cuff. I have noticed. I'm not like him. I just want to start expressing my gratitude for everyone who's entered. Every person who enters is supporting this beautiful museum with your entry. And I'm especially excited about how many of you are here in person, and a lot of you from my Minnesota group. How many of you here are here for the first time who didn't know about the museum before?
Wow.
That's awesome. You can see how beautiful our work all looks here. And I always say that my paintings look way better here than they do in my studio because of David's lighting. He's a master at lighting. So thank you, David, for that and for curating. And Beau and Kara, who helped hang the shows and unpack the shows. So can we give them applause?
Lesavage.
Yes.
Lesavage.
And I understand I've got a difficult first name and last name. It's usually wrong. So I've been in your shoes many times since 2018. And every time I was there and saw David up here, I either said out loud or thought to myself, I'm so glad I'm not doing that right now. So tell me how I got here. Huge congratulations, as David said, to everyone who's in the show. And we had a discussion, David and I, about the word finalist. I'm in 2 shows right now in other places, and by being juried in, I'm a finalist. So Richardson 75, it has 75, which is about this size. Everyone who's in the show is a finalist. So, with David's permission, everyone who's in this show is a finalist.
Use that. Use that on your social media. Okay? Use smart. Use that on your social media.
So you can, put finalists big at the top of that. As you come to this year, you're out here, and a handful of people get these top awards, so it's either everything or nothing. And And I hate that, so everybody here is a finalist. And a few thoughts about judging art in general. I don't really like competition in art. And you might be surprised to hear that because I've entered so many things. But as history shows us, who is capable of knowing what is genius? If you look at history, look at the Impressionists. They were poo-pooed in their time. And Rodin was even considered too raw and unrefined for his time. So really, what is it even, you know, what is it? The whole thing kind of bothers me when it comes to art. But here we are as artists in this art world, and the recognitions do mean something. They help us, the accolades and recognition seem unavoidable because they do play a role in gaining credibility in the art world and with our clients. And they also provide us with personal validation and also personal growth. When you're in a show like this and you see which things win the very top awards, and it helps you to grow and to aim for more and get to a higher level in your own work. So here we are. But since we're all finalists, I think the judging is done, right?
You tell me.
Not quite. I have 30 years of having a portrait studio, for those of you who don't know that, as a photographer. And in those decades, I've had the privilege of judging many, many times at conventions. And the whole judging process is so different in the world of photography, especially in professional photography. There's a panel of 5 judges. You have to go to judges school, and you have to be certified. And you're even judged on your judging once you're judging, so if you want to continue serving, you actually get scored on your judging. It's a lot more structured with the panel of 5 judges and scores, and there's specific criteria that the scores are, there's a list that you're looking at, you know, while you're judging, and that's what you're basing it on. And the judges can challenge it and say, I think this print should be higher or lower. So that's what I'm used to, that's where I come from. And in the art world, it tends to be very subjective. So I didn't want to come into this with just, I like it, as my, or I don't like it. So I aimed to bring some of that structure into my process. So I'd like to share some of the key elements that guided my final decisions. The first one is impact, which might be the most important in a way. It's the thing that makes you say, oh, I want to go up and see that closer. And then the next thing is when you get up close, are you disappointed or are you more excited about what you see? So an impact is really created by a culmination of all the other elements being used successfully. Degree of difficulty. And that doesn't necessarily mean the hardest thing to paint or the most complicated. It can be very difficult to be the simplest painting. So degree of difficulty can be, you know, many levels. Craftsmanship and technique. The use of line, and think about it as you're looking around, texture, color harmony, value, and edges. All of those things are so important. Overall composition and center of interest, posing and lighting of the subject matter, storytelling, and even presentation. What framing do you choose? What matting do you choose? How are you presenting your work? All of these things together are what guided me. And while I didn't have a list in front of me, like in photography, it's ingrained in me after so many years of judging and critiquing work based on these criteria. So from my top images, I had the challenge of narrowing it down to a small fraction. But remember, you've already earned that finalist by being a show. So let's highlight a few standout pieces. We'll start with honorable mentions. And some of them, David, when you know more about it or the person, you know, chime in. There's a lot, so I'm not going to talk too much about each one. The first one is Brooke Bartholomew, the first honorable mention. Probably didn't know each other before. I love your work.
Thank you.
see that one, so I can speak to the composition, the storytelling, the mystery, all of the things that you look for in a beautiful painting. And when you come up close, you're even more impressed.
So there's a reason it's hanging at center too.
Yes.
Because I was taken with it.
Yes.
And Beau's table blew me away too, and I wanted something that was the center of this room that I wanted everybody to see. And it was just natural to pair them. So
Maybe
thank
the
you.
color, you can see the blue in the table. The second honorable mention is Jamie Bowers. Jamie's here. The room that honors David's parents. It is an abstract, which now is a good time for me to say that Anje is the time where the museum brings in not just the realism and figurative, which is the normal thing, like for the IBPC. So I didn't do it on purpose, but half the images are abstracts and half of them. It just turned out like that. So that's pretty cool. So he's one of the abstracts, and that's exactly what I was talking about, simplicity. You guys have to see it. It's around the corner.
Which one?
You have two in?
I do.
Oh, what's your other one?
It's one in the corner, and then there's one kind of on the wall.
It's called Reason.
Yeah, it's in the corner back there.
Yes. It's large, and it's so weird when you're looking at things online and you don't know, when you see them in person, it's like a mind bending. Because I didn't look at the size, which I probably could have, but I'm so visual, I'm just looking at the images. But I love that it was big and powerful, and the contrast, the color balance, and all of the elements are in that painting, even though it's simple.
And I agree. Your work is brilliant, absolutely brilliant. You are a killer scientist.
The third
Don't
honor.
take this lightly. I would compare your work, even though I don't like comparing, to Mark Rothko, who is the grandfather of abstract expressionism. And you have that. And it seems innate for you. I don't know how long you've been doing this, but your work is brilliant.
Thank you.
Goes to Richard Koshinash, who is not here for Oblique and Lavender. It's very close to Jamie's painting, and it's floral. Rick is known, he's a known painter of flowers, famous. He was actually one of my teachers in the 90s. He's a genius, and he's been painting full-time since way before I was in school in the 90s. And you get up close to that, and you can see the mastery in all of the choices that he's made. Rick. Number 4 is Joseph Riggy for Cameron.
Right behind Bruce.
Beautiful. This I love for many reasons. I love the simplicity of black and white. And being a photographer, often with a portrait, you put it in black and white color and say, well, which is best? We want color and we want black and white. I love the simplicity that black and white makes it quieter and just like brings you right to what matters in it, which is a portrait of your son. Right?
Well, yes, a little disclaimer. I had a bunch of your drawings all over my wall. Julianne's and then half of Casey Beau. So, you know.
Disqualified.
Told me that it had nothing to do with.
Hey, I have a question for you.
Sure.
We've had your work in here before.
One piece I just started drawing a couple years ago.
Okay.
After high school.
You knocked this one out of the park. Keep going.
Yes. Number 5, congratulations, is Dana Mano Flank, Beyond This Moment Sunrise. And I don't know if she's here.
She's not here. Dana has been in several exhibits here. And as a matter of fact, she had about 3 works accepted to the first Angie that was juried by Alyssa Monks. And her work morphs all the time. And it's so interesting to follow her and her mindset and her execution. She is by far one of the best mixed media artists I've ever seen in my life. She produces things that are so top level, it's sickening. And I don't know how she does it. I'm just grateful that she keeps entering here and deciding to exhibit her work with us.
This piece, I just kind of, on my computer, went over it, and it was really seeing it in person, which is why art has to be seen in person. But it really had the impact. So when you get a chance, come up and just look at the beautiful texture in it. And I'm not sure about the meaning of it, but I kind of like it when there's mystery left in the meaning, where there's a title, but it's not telling you everything. So bravo to her. The next honorable mention goes to Deborah Waggy for Landline. And this was the opposite of our thought. It was a little tiny piece. And I thought she just did that so fresh, and I already loved it. You know, thinking it was like a plein air you did in a couple hours. Then when I got here, it was like, OMG. This is like even more amazing that you kept it that fresh, that it has the look of a color study done from life in it, I'm sure, which was a studio painting. So congratulations. The next one is another abstract from Marjorie Moody. It's called Wanderings, and it's over here in this corner. And there's a perfect example of presentation, because she could have framed that so many ways that wouldn't have given it the impact that it has. It's the nothingness of the framing that brings out the somethingness of the painting. And everybody who looks at that has a word for it that's like peaceful. And what was your word, Curtis? Was it peaceful? It was something like that. And that is produced by that color balance. There's not a big contrast. So kind of the opposite of Jamie's that has the orange that's contrasting with the turquoise. The quietness of this is what gives it its beauty and mood. So.
It's very moody.
Very moody, that's right. I said it earlier.
Why are you so moody?
The next honorable mention goes to James Thomas Donovan for Goldfinch Neglected. In the adjoining room, it's this beautiful little piece. You'll have to have him tell you the story. There's an old master painting that he was inspired by and changed the narrative. And it's very interesting, it's beautiful. He captured the feeling of the outdoor light. And that's really hard to do. That's all about what colors you choose and values. It's about everything. But you did it. You captured that feeling of that outdoor light. So congratulations. The next honorable mention goes to Diane Bywater. So David knows all about you, but I loved your work.
Thank you.
And even though it's about skeletons, I want it to be in my living room. It's so pretty. It's just beautiful, and the bronze in it. It's one of those that you have, the more you look at it, the more you'll see. So you need to go behind it, you need to look at all sides of it and really take it in. But what was her? She had some wonderful credentials, like she was a retired teacher.
She's only absolutely brilliant and has taught art on a college level, painting and drawing and sculpture for, I don't know, what, 40 years?
30, for sure. Over 30 years.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's beautiful. So the last honorable mention is Kara let me try it. Lasevich. Did I do it right?
Yes! And again, speak to the artists after we're done here and hear their stories. The story
behind that is really amazing. When I asked her to talk to me about her painting, it's gonna make me cry. She talked about the person instead of her painting. Oh. And that's what's a beautiful portrait.
Sorry, we get emotional as managers.
Okay, we're gonna move on to the awards of excellence. The first one is William Stewart for Thea. And it's in the first and they are sublimation prints in acrylic. So again, it's part of how Anjay has a little bit of everything in it. They're gorgeous. And I believe they're probably mixed media with photography. And I do this kind of painting, and I know how difficult it is to take something that's photographic. So let's say if that was a photograph of Joe's son, and to turn it into like an abstract painting, that's not an easy thing to do. And there's so many decisions you make to keep the soul of it, but to change it into a different genre. And he did that beautifully.
And what I'm excited about is William was part of I think the first Angie, and he stuck with us, that we're still on his radar.
Yes.
We're still on his radar.
I love that.
He's still good.
The second award of excellence is Anna Toberman for Shadow and Fan. We got to give press to some of the amazing realism that's happening here too. And that little gem, I thought was big painting. So many of them were the opposite of what I expected. And it impressed me even more to see how tiny it was, to see all the little work that she did in there. Get up close and look at all the colors she used in the white fabric, and look at the composition there, that she used that shadow, the arm that brings you right back into the face. There's all kinds of things going on to make that painting work. And then the third award of excellence goes to Beau It's called Tuatha De Danann. That is so beautiful. It's another thing that I want to have in my house. Look what he made it out of. And if you look at the top, there's all kinds of detail in there. And I think it's brave even for somebody that makes stuff like that and this, to even be entering with all the 2D art. You know, so often 3D art is kind of like, well, it's just the furniture as we walk past the paintings. And that is wonderful.
Thank you.
Award of excellence. And finally, the top three honors. The third place goes to Ciel Sky for I Am. It's in the first. Powerful black and white done with ink. And it's the perfect combination of abstract and realism because it's full of figure. And is this person here?
I'm Cecil.
Oh my God. It's full of figure, and what's one of the hardest things to paint? What do people always want to leave out of their painting? The hands and the feet. And there are so many hands and they're masterfully handled. So you are going to be getting the third place.
And if I could say something about that piece, I was also drawn to it.
Yes.
Immediately, not so much in JPEG form, okay? But once it got here and I stood in front of it, I was immediately just taken aback by the fact that I'm jumping back and forth from literal to abstract. There's this beautiful play as you travel through the work on a vertical format, which is not easy to do. We always move left, right. And you go from being in something you're not quite sure of, but I think it's a figure, to, oh my God, there's something hanging on to that form. And then you get taken back into the abstract. And it's so beautifully done. It's
We both
so
loved it.
awesome, thank you.
And the title, I Am, is
Yeah.
again something that can give you a lead, but you make your own narrative, I think. Is it about God? Is it about creation? Or is it about that you're dealing with stuff in your life and you're just hanging on to the fact that you're alive? So, you know, I'd like to hear about it later.
And, you know, I got to say something there.
Yeah.
I think it's just about being. I am.
Yeah.
That, and to me, the hands holding the figure means I'm so happy just being. And I know I'm taken care of.
That's a great, and I love to, in my work, not to tell it all, because that might not be, because there's pain there. It might be that somebody who's going through some real
That's true.
shite in their,
Yeah.
that's in their behavior. Okay.
This is a family show.
Reminds me of the grandkids, what they got from me, because I'm not a swearer, but I will say, what the heck? And my little 2-year-old baby, she comes over and she walks up, she goes, what the heck? Her parents go, that's all you. Okay, second place goes to Chantel Barber. Oh. She actually has 3 pieces in the show, and the one that's getting the award is called Some Things Don't Change. Beautiful little, you'll have to come and look at it up close, because from here, it just looks like a traditional realism painting of a face. You get up close, and that's the mastery. And that's the stuff that blows me away. If I can come up to it, like CL's piece, and say, how did they do that? Instead of, you know, I'm a painter, I've been a painter for a long time. If I can come up and just see graphically, yeah, I know what they did, I can see exactly how I can go home and do that. It somehow has more something for me when I'm like, how did they do that? What the heck? And that's how I feel with Chantel's work. And it's also acrylic, which is amazing, that she makes it look like an oil painting. She's a well-known painter and a teacher, and I actually, that painting was hanging in Spain with one of mine, so I fell in love with it even before this show, so I'm really honored to be able to give it an award here. And the first place, Best of Show, she also gets a ad from Fine Art Connoisseur. The lady from Fine Art Connoisseur couldn't be here, so I don't want to neglect telling the importance of it.
Yeah, and I do want to kind of give a plug to Fine Art Connoisseur magazine, because Fine Art Connoisseur, since this museum was launched, okay, and for those, has been a huge supporter of this museum. Fine Art Connoisseur, Peter Tribby, the editor-in-chief in New York, where this is published, saw what was going on, and he has been a champion of this museum in promoting and help continue promoting our efforts here in being a venue that still supports academic excellence in figurative realism. And he's been a juror here too, and he was brutal because he is a wealth of information. You know,
I thought it was great.
yeah, but yeah.
That was
So
the one who put my drawing on the cover of the
yeah,
magazine. So.
and Gina Ward, their representative, actually lives in Door County, and typically she's here tonight, and
Yes.
she regretted not being able to make this some of the prior engagements, but they keep abreast of what's going on, and they actually let the rest of the United States know what we're doing here. Besides Beautiful Bazaar magazine in Australia, and Fine Art Today, American Art Collector, the list goes on, but I have to say that Fine Art Connoisseur, these people have been spectacular to work with, and they have done nothing but help maintain the longevity of this museum and increase our chances of survival, especially through COVID,
Yes.
which I can't even believe we made through. So anyway,
She's at,
thank you, Gina. Thank you, Peter.
yes. She's at one of their big conventions that they do. It might be Fall Color. And as busy as she is, she was on the phone with me a few hours ago, making sure that this was all in place. So this goes to Chantel, and she'll have an ad worth $4,000 in Minor and Sewer. And Gina also added another award for one of the awards of excellence to a 2D piece that would go in the magazine. And I don't really understand what it is. I think it's an online thing that goes on for a really long time, and it's worth $1,000. And so that's going to Anna Toberman. And I don't have that. One award that we have left is first place or best of show, and that goes to Thomas Fluharty for The Dog Father. Yeah. Poster child for all those elements that I write. Like just the typewriter in the corner. Either corner of the painting could be a painting by itself. And then every single character, which is his thing, and he's stayed true to his genre. Look him up on Instagram. He has over 100,000 followers, and he is a cartoon. I've known him for a long time. He is one of his characters, and you can see him acting out right there on Instagram. But every one of them is a portrait. And that's one of the things as a portrait painter, when we did family groups, you should be able to isolate each family member and have it be a portrait of that person. And he did that with these animals. And so be sure you look for the peeing dog, because it's so funny. Look on its face is just like those little ones look when they're doing that. So thank you again to everyone. I'm so happy that you guys are here, that everyone's a finalist in this show, and I hope that we have your word here again.
Yeah. Let me retain your attention for like one more minute. To all the artists who have attended this evening, we'd like to extend an invitation just to socialize a little bit outside of the museum. There's a tiny little Irish place that's just north on 3rd Street. Believe it or not, we live in a small town. Wausau is 40,000 people. They roll up the sidewalks here at 7:45. So it's very difficult to accommodate larger groups as we expected we would have this evening. And so the owner of Limericks is staying open for us. They've got great food, drinks, whatever you like, and it's just, a block and a half up, okay?
At 8:30.
8:30, what time is it?
Oh,
Anybody know?
7:40. So if anybody has questions about their work, if anybody wants to know why they didn't get first place and wants to talk about